Hello everyone and welcome to a video called Robot Daycare. This is where you take care of all the baby robots that are being born by mama and dada robots. So let's go ahead and press start to begin. And start a new game. I don't think that's a good idea. Why not? I think it sounds cute. And if all of us work together, it's totally manageable. That's not the problem. I'm worried about this guy overdoing it. What do you mean? If you take care of programming, most of the responsibility is on you. Neither Strelitzia or I will be able to supervise what code you put in. Not true. I can keep an eye on him. After all, my work only starts once. It's already built. Wow, thanks for trusting me. But I don't care either way. Do you have any other ideas? Not really. It's hard to think of an assignment that combines all of our fields. See? It's perfect. You're just glad you'll have to put in the least amount of effort, don't you? Aren't you? Yeah, that's gotta be it. What? Why do you say that? Because it's the truth. You just monitor its behavior. Ugh, fine. Maybe I'll have less work because I won't have to build it. But that just means I can help you guys more. Like being the errand boy and bringing us coffee? Anything for you, darling? Ah, shut up. But since there's a lack of other good ideas, it seems like I have no other choice but to agree on the robot project. Glad to see you came to your senses, Leah. Lie. What about you? Well, Mr. Pretentious trusts me. I'll program the robots. What kind of robot are we talking about, though? A remote-controlled car? Are you trying to make fun of me? What would be the challenge in that? Not to mention, if it were that basic, I'd really have nothing to do. Wasn't it obvious that it should be something intelligent? Goodness. Excuse me for asking a question, AI robot it is. But, so what should it look like? Male or female? Doesn't matter. Just make sure it's not hot. Don't want Stretzy to freak out. So I guess we're students at a school, a very pretentious school, and we have a very hard project to do. My perfectionism won't allow me to create something that looks ugly. Then I hope you won't mind Stretzel's lipstick stains all over it. I don't use lipstick. That's the part you're gonna disagree with? How about we make it look like a child? That way it can look cute, and Strelitzo will be able to control himself. Okay. Thanks for having so much faith in me. Then, it's all settled, right? Is everyone's task clear? Of course. I will build a cute robot, and you will give it a mediocre personality. But Strelitza will be distracting us because he's bored. I only would have stuck around to show solidarity. I can leave if it bothers you that much. Good call. Maybe I can finally focus on work when you're not blasting music. As if he's the reason you procrastinate so much. You wear headphones most of the time. Then why are you saying Stretzy will distract you? A fire could go off in your room and you'd still focus on whatever book you're reading. I can't tell if you're fighting for or against me. Oh, so being able to stay focused is a negative trait now? If you're gonna neglect everything around you, yeah. We don't even have to build a robot. We can just use you. What? Come on, I'm not a robot, guys. Calm down. I'm not joking around, guys. Just call me when the robot is done. And that's the start of Robot Daycare. Does it work? Is it working? We did like a big run sequence where we fixed up the robot and everything. calm down, will you? It needs some time to boot up properly. It's been booting up for several minutes now. You sure you didn't mess anything up? Come on, this is a little child robot that we built here. Can you calm down? Hmm? Why would I mess up? Your coding is probably off again. You have no idea how hard coding AI is. Meanwhile, you're just screwing some metal together and think you're a genius or something. I love to see you screw some metal together if you think it's that easy. Guys, look. The robot's eyes are open. See? I told you. It just needs some time to start up. Wait. I'm the robot, aren't I? Whatever, dude. Hello. That's me. So, why isn't it doing anything? Well, it isn't my fault nothing is happening. The hardware for talking is built in. Okay, this is where I think we need to save. And then make some decisions. Are you saying I messed up programming again? No, I merely implied it. Hey little guy, say something. Something. Ah, yes. Perfect response. Did you program it to have a terrible sense of humor? Oh, but quoting memes would be peak comedy or what? What is memes? It cannot be found in the database. Great. You're already corrupted it. Requesting permission to research memes. Permission denied. No memes for you until you're the perfect robot. Huh. Will this little guy ask for permission whenever it wants to learn something? Not exactly. It will only ask for permission when looking up stuff online. Anything it learns through us or through first-hand experience will be saved immediately. I see. What a clever little guy. By the way, doesn't it feel like kind of wrong to call it nothing but it? It should respond to anything as long as it can sense what you're addressing it. We should give it a proper name. What about, Roboy? Rejected. Cyboy? I like that one better. Double rejected. Well, I don't see you guys thinking of any ideas. Maybe we can call it Lil? Don't go there. Lilith? Lily? Little robot? Okay, that's fair. What on earth made you think it would be an appropriate suggestion? That implies he's capable of thought. And since you're so capable, I'm sure you've thought of a name by now. I have actually. Oh? What is it? I'm gonna name it Cyboy. No, I'm gonna name it Roboy. Because that's an achievement. Olander, not you too. We have to show this to our professor. Come on now. Cyboy. I don't know how to spell the other one. Cyboy. Okay, I'll just name it Clyde. Save. Wait. Yeah, sure. Alright, Clyde, let's start. This is your name now. Clyde. Sure? Yes. That's pretty cute, I like it. I don't have any objections. What do you think, Clyde? Clyde will answer to whatever name as you see fit. Except Roboy. Hey, that settles it. Both its name and the question of whether or not Lycoris project his personality into it. Better mine than yours. Commit primary call to Clyde. That's how you do it, right? Call sign committed as per Stretzy's specification. Oh sweet, so it can identify us. Yeah, I figured it would be great if some rando wandered in and sabotaged our project. It can recognize us by voice, distinguish us by appearance, and will only follow our orders. It also It'll also log changes based on who made them. Pretty impressive, huh? Let's see how quickly we can break your code. Clyde, who am I? Leah. I half expected it to insult him. Who do you take me for? Since it'll be presenting the changelog with the paper, I decide to keep the nicknames appropriate. You made the decision by yourself. What if I wanted a different nickname? If you're asking, if you can have it call you dearest, most darling older brother, you can technically do that. That's not what I was asking. Hey Clyde, use Stretzy's secret nickname. Oni-chan. Huh? This is the worst. Clyde, delete that from your word break database now. Oni-chan has been deleted. I don't feel so good. You guys are no fun. I want to be Oni-chan. This is a college project. We have to keep it professional. Not always, all the time. Depends on the teacher. Yeah. And that's why you gave it those weird horns. They were supposed to look cute. Clyde detects a tense atmosphere. Should Clyde help play some music to help lighten the mood? Of course, why did you add that feature? For some calm tunes while we work. Do you have a problem with it? Clyde, play Old Town Road. Old Town Road could not be found in Lia's playlist. Oh, thank goodness. How about play some classical music? Very well. Is this the Stretzy's liking? Yeah, totally. Thank you, Clyde. Stretzy is welcome. Isn't that a little too majestic? I feel awkward. Clyde is trying its best. Besides, you're the one who installed the song. Now that Clyde works like we planned, are you ready to run some tests on it, Strelitzia? Of course. Leave it to me. I'd rather not leave it to you, but I don't know anything about psychology, so I don't have a choice. First you complain I'm not doing enough, and now this? Let's just leave Strelitzia alone with the robot before he makes it download obscure music online. Fine, whatever. Where to start? Empathy testing, language recognition, Stretzy. Or the tutoring test, maybe. Oh, what is it, Clyde? What is Lily? Where did you learn about that word? Lai wanted to call Clyde Lily, but Stretzy and Leah objected. Clyde does not recognize it as a negative term. Should Clyde's database be updated? That's not necessary. You ask a lot of questions. Clyde is programmed to learn. Queries are the most effective method for initiated knowledge acquisition. Yes, those words put together. If Lily is a topic that should not be discussed, learning not to ask of it is still learning. Lily, no. Lilium, he lives with us before we built you. Is Lilium Clyde's predecessor? I wouldn't put it that way. Older brother. Definitely not that way. He just isn't here anymore. As in, he vacated the premises. Clyde, pause playback. Thank you. You see, Lilium, he ceased functioning. Was it not possible to repair him? Lilium was a human. So, it was not? I guess it'd be reasonable to me to assume that Lai programmed you with the concept of morality. Does Clyde need to be? I mean, it's kind of necessary in order for you to understand what I'm about to say. What a babysitter I am. It's not even been 10 minutes, I'm already teaching you about death. You see, Clyde. Well, here we are. We're at the options part of this game. People will be taken away from you. And there's nothing you can do about it. They never come back. Usually not. And this is unwanted? Yes, well, most of the time it is. Ah! Okay. Under what circumstances is it wanted? When people get in your way, or hurt you, or hurt someone you love. But you'll get in trouble if you do that, so not many people get rid of others. It makes people disappear. Is making people disappear bad? At least in the eyes of the law, I personally think it can be justified sometimes. Was Lillian's disappearance justified? No. He was the last person that would have deserved such a thing. Ooh, flashback time. Mr. Rutsa, may I finally ask what you begged us to meet up with for? And maybe explain why Lillian wasn't invited? I was just about to tell you, have a little patience. We have been patient. This is your third slice of cake. Fine, I'll get to the point. I wasn't sure how to bring it up. Have you guys noticed that Lily seems kinda off lately? What do you mean by that? Probably that he's been ignoring his chores like a champ. Well, yeah, that's part of the problem. But what I really mean is that Lily seems so distant. Had I invited him to join us, I knew he would have declined anyway. He barely leaves our apartment. Hell, he barely even leaves his room. You two haven't noticed that? Now that you mention it, Lilm really seems to be isolating himself. It's not like him. But that's no reason to slack off with housework. He's sad or something. Isn't he allowed to catch a break? Is that why you invited us here? Telling us to cut Lillian some slack? That's right. You two keep nagging him. So I want you to leave him alone for a while. Not happening. I get depressed all the time, but you don't see me decomposing in bed and letting others clean up after me. Staritza, we can't just, let him off the hook like that. We all have certain chores we have to do. If William continues to laze around, we have to tell him off. And if that doesn't help, we'll kick him out. Are you nuts? We can't kick him out, he's our friend. If you want to baby Lilium so bad, you can do that. But Leah and I will not put up with his behavior. Exactly. We can't let this slide forever. It won't be forever. Lily's just in a slump right now. We've all been there before. Please just leave him be for a while. I'm giving him 1 week. After that, I'll kick his ass. Perhaps don't actually kick his ass, but I agree with the 1 week led deadline. After that, he must start acting like an adult again. Alright then, whatever it takes for you to show some compassion for once. We can't all have a big brother complex like you. I don't? Anyways, I'm sure he'll turn back to normal soon. He never became the old Lilium again, though. And it's all Lai and Leah's fault. Because they were so inconsiderate. Why? Clyde cannot follow. The simple Clyde. They just wouldn't leave Lily alone. They kept nagging him, complaining left and right, and never gave him a break. They were ignorant, oblivious to how bad Lily felt. Did Stretzy know about how bad Lillian felt? Of course! I'm a psychology student, so I know all about this stuff. But none of the other two, and that's why he's not here anymore. It would only be fair if they disappeared too, Clyde. Don't you agree? Should Clyde agree with Stretzy? Yeah, you should. Only listen to me, and not all the others, right? Error. Express an invalid command. Oh, haha, hello. Was so startled. You were telling him to kill me or something? You're so funny. Why would I do such a thing? Are you done with your test? Oh, leader took his toolkit on the desk. I want to check Clyde's processing unit since it's louder than it's supposed to be. What's in the box? Your head if you make that reference one more time. But it's my equipment, naturally. Ouch, you're no fun. Either way, I'm good for now. Feel free to play with Clyde. I'm not going to play. He doesn't take this seriously at all, does he? Well then, let me check you up on you, Clyde. What would Leah like to confirm? Did Strelitsa do anything? Corey lacks specific necessary for meaningful response. What kind of tests did he run? None. What? Stretsy did not officially initiate any tests, so no results have been recorded. So he was the one playing around. Stretsy and Clyde had an educational conversation. He taught you pop culture references? No. What did you learn then? Clyde has yet to sufficiently process the information. It seemed important to Stretsy. He does not have the best priorities, so that could mean anything. If it was just a conversation though, it should have been fully understood and categorized by now. Yeah, that's no good. What's straining you so? Let me check your processing unit. The test before you got your personality indicated that there would be no issue. So, this time, you need to remain operational while I troubleshoot. Shall Clyde monitor its usage statistics while you work? Yes. A lender picks up Clyde and places it on the table. There we go. Articulation seems to be functioning properly. Do you feel balanced? More so when I'm standing. Danger of falling from a seated position is minimal. Excellent. Record gyroscope readings and initiate dexterity tests. Unbutton your shirt. Cannot complete tasks. Necessary instructions not found in database. This is as good as a time as any to test visual learning. Watch this. He unbuttons his lab coat and sets an example. Skills stored. Proceeding to unbutton shirt. Warning. Torso circularity is exposed. Disregard warning. Enter troubleshooting mode. Now, let's take a look. Everything appears to be in its place. Then again, neither of them have the technological know-how to make any meaningful adjustments. Who? You are programmed to be logical. If Lycoris has done his job, you should be more than capable of figuring that out. Actually, hold off on figuring that out. Let me remove your processing unit for inspection first. Clyde temperature reading of anterior thoracic cavity. 342.15 Kelvin. End non-essential tasks and switch to efficiency mode. Decrease in functionality. Base operation remain active. Clyde's lights dim and the whirring sound of its strained system gradually quietens. Much better. It must be the auxiliary functions using too much power. O-Leader puts a pair of insulated gloves from the box he brought with him. After putting the gloves on, he flexes his fingers before attempting to remove the processing unit for a second time. He succeeds this time, thin wires tethering to its recessed slot in Clyde's chest. It doesn't look damaged, and even though it's painful for humans to touch, I don't think we have to worry about you melting. It must be Lycorius's messy programming, or has your conversation with Strelitsa been fully processed by now? Initial interpretation is now complete. How did he initiate the conversation? He did not. Clyde asked a question, and Stretsy educated Clyde on the subject. I see. What was the subject? Lilium. Orlander's grip on the processing units tighten suddenly, and sparks fly from the connections. He fumbles it slightly before carefully slotting it back into Clyde's chest. Sorry, did that hurt? What does hurt entail? Of course, that was a stupid question. I didn't install any pain sensors. Naturally, you wouldn't be hurt. So pain results in hurts. That's the simplest way of putting it. Is there a more elucidated way of putting it? Well, yes, but you would have to ask Strelitsa about that rather than me. He's the sensitive one. Although, Sometimes I get the feeling he's just pretending and doesn't actually know that much. Leah's statement is difficult to comprehend. Please elaborate. Have you noticed that Strelitsa and I behave differently? Yes. Good, because unlike him, I take things seriously. That means I take pain seriously, too. Strelitsa just brushes everything off like he is blind to other people's pain and suffering. Are pain and suffering connected? Yes, definitely. When you're in a severe pain, you're suffering. But you don't always notice it. The suffering of others, I mean. Some people don't want others to suffer because of them, so they act stubborn and try to hide it. Is suffering contagious? Somewhat, I would say. Not like a disease, but seeing someone you care about suffering causes you to also be in pain. And I guess that's why he wouldn't show us or talk to us. Why is there liquid running down Leah's face? Olander brushes his finger against his cheek, staring at them in bemusement when they come away wet. Bodily harm is not the only source of pain. When your mind is hurt, your pain is called sadness. Sometimes if the pain is strong enough, tears come out of your eyes. But please don't tell the others I did that. Why did the body react, if only the mind was hurt? Is there a logical reason? Feelings aren't always logical, no matter how much one hopes they were. That's precisely what makes it hard for AI to understand. Hard does not mean impossible. It is Clyde's duty to learn. Earlier, Stressy did not produce tears when speaking about Lillian. Is Stressy not affected by sadness from Lillian's departure? Oh, we know that he is, but he also did not cry when talking about them. That's interesting. That's a good call, Robot Clyde. But they're saying he isn't straight up. Oh, we'll say he is right now. No, not everyone cries when they are sad or hurt. Nor do people cry every time they feel that way. It was difficult without Lillian around, and we dealt with the pain in our own ways. Lillian was also hurt, but we didn't realize how much until it was too late. Did Lillian cry? No. He never gave us obvious cues like that. It annoyed me that he didn't communicate with us. I thought that if we're his friends, he should have been able to open up. That's why I thought showing us some tough love would wake him up. Good morning, William. Prepared to come out today? Get away from the door. Leave him alone. So now greeting him is considered harassment. Oh yeah, we don't like Olander anymore. When he obviously doesn't want to talk to us, yes. Yeah, I bet feeling lonely is going to be a huge help for him. That loneliness will make him realize he needs us. He will ask for our help when he's ready. That's not how it always works, but okay. That's as much of a gamble as my method, except it's a lot more cruel. Respecting people's boundaries is cruel. I'll never understand you. Guys, it's too early for this crap. You're both twisting each other's words. Shut up. Then what's your brilliant solution to the problem? You won't get a new answer from me. I still think we should call someone and let the pros handle it. Great. And get the law involved? Lily wants a break, not more stress. And just tell his favorite professor or something. They'll be legally required to contact the police. Look, I know it's a hassle, but we're clearly not qualified to deal with this. We should let someone else take care of it before it's too late. Too late for what? And you're supposed to be a psych major. Oh, and that means I understand everything a person has ever dealt with? Our friend asked us to leave him alone, so I will do exactly that. He knows what's best for himself. We're just running in circles. Both of you are cowards. Strelitsa, You didn't want to get involved, and like yours, you just want to push the responsibility onto someone else. But everything William needs is already here. His friends. That's what he needs. Not mental health. He just needs his friend. His friend good. Yeah. How deep? Unfortunately, none of us are professional therapists, so we may be very well cause more harm than good. Besides, if he really needed us, he wouldn't be pushing us away every single time. Clyde finds it difficult to determine the correct strategy. Tell me about it. Well, it's a little too late now. But it's not even a purely logical thing. Like, you can figure it out. Maybe there's really was nothing we could have done. Clyde is saving energy. Perhaps Clyde could solve the problem with more processing power. Not necessary. It's all in the past, so it wouldn't serve any purpose. Besides, I wouldn't want to find out I was in the wrong. That's more selfish and more important aspect of me. Is selfishness bad? Sort of, yes. A small amount of selfishness can be healthy, though. But clearly, I've been too selfish in the past. I blame everyone and everything for Lily's death. I just couldn't accept the possibility of my behavior being wrong. I didn't even consider it. Clyde cannot classify Leah, Stretzy, or Lai's behavior as wrong. Clyde suspects there is no one to blame. No one to blame? Perhaps you're right. It would be nice if you were. Leia, what the hell is it naked? Huh? What? Clyde is a robot. Robots can't be naked. Hey Clyde, are you naked? Clyde is currently in a state of undress and thus naked. See? Betrayed by my own creation. Okay, but naked or not? What were you doing? I wanted to figure out what the programming noises were about, so I fixed the issue. Huh? How? By disabling some unnecessary features. You were trying to show off a little too hard, of course. I know, I'm such an ass. How dare I want to get us a good grade. I was just trying to offer some constructive criticism. Yeah, then, what's the condescending tone for? I'm sick of your constant nagging, you know? And you're a pleasant little angel, or what? I will admit, I get irritated easily, but you seem to be in a foul mood regardless of what's going on. Nothing is ever right for you. Stop acting like you're the only one who's having a hard time. Man, all this stuff is coming up right now. This robot's just witnessing everything for the first time. Human emotions, all this stuff happening are surrounding this painful tragedy of their friend's death. This is their first exposure to the world. How are they processing it? There, what's going on? Why are you yelling? Don't even get me started on you. You're only stepping in so you can seem like the good guy, but you'll talk shit behind our backs anyway. I don't think we should be swearing in front of Clyde. It's a freaking robot. I made it. For all of you who know, I could have installed any imaginable slur into it. All of us know what you're really like. Your performative kindness is completely useless here. Okay, so I'm assuming Leah was minding his own business and you just start drama out of nowhere? Pretty much. Doesn't that get old after a while? What's your problem, of course? Why are you acting all like this? Shut up, what's that sound? Construction work. Don't avoid my question. It's got a little beat to it. What construction? It's past midnight. We're the only ones here. Guides vs. Clyde. It was sitting on the table just a second ago. So lies, swearing, scared. It off all after all. Get over yourself. Get over yourself. Suddenly, strange droplets start appearing on the floor. Some splatters even land on the guy's shoes and pants. Confused, the young men try to figure out where they could be coming from. Once they look around the corner, both Clyde's location and the metal noises are origin finally become clear. Clyde is standing next to the table and is repeatedly bashing his head against. Upon closer inspection, it seems to be purposely lining up his face with the edge of the table. One of its artificial eyes was already beaten to a pulp, and blue liquid containing clumps of plastic and metal is flowing out of its now empty socket. With each thrust, more tiny pieces are scattered about. But that doesn't seem to bother Clyde. It's busy making its other eye reach the same fate. As the mass in its head is getting stickier, its movement is gradually slowing down. It is harder to move because it keeps getting stuck? Or is it losing power? It's difficult to tell. Why is it doing that? I didn't program it in. That's not my fault. Don't just stand there, do something about it. Suarez pulls Clyde away, firmly hugging him to prevent it from causing more damage to itself. But even though it has nothing to hit anymore, its head continues doing the same motion. Only there tries to stop it with force, but the small robot seems to be more powerful than expected. Stop it, there's no reason for you. Tears. What? The chorus rinses with two black holes filled the mushy blue residue glance up at him. Clyde was taught that sadness causes humans to cry. So after Clyde heard you're arguing for so long, Clyde wanted to replicate tears. Who taught you that, Clyde? I might have, accidentally. What on earth did you do to it? Leah cried in front of Clyde. Hey, I told you to keep that a secret. Clyde isn't programmed to follow orders strictly, but to find ideal solutions. Telling them seemed to be the best course of action. Sounds fake, but okay. Why are you implying? I'm implying you freaking faked it. Rubbed water on your face or whatever. Slow down with the conspiracy theories, will you? You really think he'd do that on the off chance that he could use it against us somehow? Ah, what a classic. In the end, you two always team up against me. It's always been like that, isn't it, right? Hey, watch where you're going. I could have dropped my cake. Whatever, I gotta get out of here. What's wrong? Is the central heating being weird again? Yeah, right. As if it isn't obvious. Don't tell me you had another fight with Lily. I told you to leave him alone. Your negativity is really the last thing he needs right now. I can't just let him live like that. Have you been inside his room lately? It looks and smells horrible. Come on, Lai. You're just overreacting. You're not his mom. Maybe you should actually get his mother over here so he starts doing something for a change. Leah is trying to get him to snap out of it, but he just keeps repeating, you don't understand me. And we really don't understand him, but a professional might, you know. We've had this conversation a million times already, Lai, and we decided against it. No, you decide for it now. Well, you and Leah decided against it. I don't get why you're denying how serious this is. It's not normal. He needs help. You're so worked up. Get some fresh air and cool down. I'll go talk to Lily. At least you were giving up. At least you've given up on ignoring him. I wasn't ignoring him. He wanted to be left alone. Whatever lets you sleep at night. But go on, talk to Lillian. Keep on hoping for a miracle that won't happen. Dealing with this is seriously exhausting. Maybe a walk will help me get my mind off of things. I guess Leah isn't back yet. Oh, and Stretsy left his cake in front of Lily's room? Hey, you okay in there? I'm gonna apologize for lashing out like that earlier. Uh-oh. Come on, don't sulk now. I didn't mean everything I said. Stretsy left you a cake. Why don't you try a bite? I'm gonna bring it in, alright? Lily, I gotta say, you're being kinda childish right now. Just let me in, I promise I won't scold you anymore. Hey, are you okay in there? Lily, please answer. I guess I have no other option. I'm sorry I had to come in like this, but you... You're not here? What the hell? Is this a joke? Licorice spots a note on Lilium's tail. To my dear friends, I'm sorry that this is all I leave you with, but I can't do this anymore. Please don't worry about me, I'm in a much better place now. Lilium. What? So this was your solution? No way. Why would you? I will. Um, never forgive myself. I had it all wrong. It's obvious to me now. That fight with Lilium I had was clearly the last straw. Had I been more understanding, it wouldn't have ended up like this. But I blamed you guys instead of facing my mistake. You're not the only one. That doesn't excuse your explosion earlier. I'm sorry, I won't mess up again. Clyde is our new friend. This time we can make things right. You're right. We have to assign to work on dwelling on the past. Won't give us good grades. Neither of those awful injuries. I can't believe we let that happen. Good thing only the eyes were damaged. Considering that I have spare parts, this should only take a few minutes. That's much better. How do you feel, Clyde? Clyde does feel any different. However, the ability to see has been restored. Maybe we'll get a passing grade after all. Not so fast. Strelitzia hasn't done anything, so we have nothing to hand in. Pragmatic as always, but I guess you're not wrong. What are we supposed to do, though? Teach Clyde about the power of friendship? I dare say that would be a scientific breakthrough. Hey Clyde, do you know what friendship is? The definition is on Clyde's database. Should Clyde look it up online? Really? You were making a robot with your friends and you didn't even bother to program? Never mind. Positive vibes. Let's try something else. Clyde, how do you feel about us? Clyde does not know the answer to this question. Streltsy, Leah, and Lai are Clyde's creators. Is there anything similar to creators in your database? Synonyms for creator found. Inventor, founder, god. I kinda like that. Absolutely not, Clyde. Please continue. Maker, producer, parent? Parent, that's it. We're like Clyde's parents. Isn't that right, guys? I feel a little too young to call myself a father, and I certainly haven't been a good one to Clyde so far. Besides, wouldn't that imply I'd be married to the two of you or something? Dude, it's not that deep. We all came together to create something beautiful, so it's only natural if we call ourselves his parents. Why are you looking at me like that? I just got the shivers from the amount of sappiness is horrifying coming from you. How did you actually manage to say that out loud is beyond me. It's because he watches too much anime. You're the one who was talking about the power of friendship earlier. If anything, you're trying to sound like an anime protagonist. Clyde does not know what an anime protagonist is. Is it important information to connect to the being a parent? Strelitza and Lacour start laughing while Olander tries to keep a straight face. He can't help but let out a snort. Clyde is waiting for confirmation. There's no correlation. Please forget we mentioned anime. Not so fast. Maybe watching anime will help it understand what friendship truly means. For example, there's this one episode of Lucio where... Oh, don't make me regret this already. Fine, I had my fun. But Clyde, how do you feel about us being your parents? Does that make Clyde your child? All three are taken aback by the question for a moment. Honestly, can that get any cuter? Clyde's not a thing? Well, at least not anymore. He's our little boy now. Who said Clyde is a boy? Clyde does not have a set gender. Oh, he's a boy, because I gave him a boyish name. Oh, but he does... But does that mean he can pick one for you, using it, to refer to you as something kind of dehumanizing? It's not human. You know what I mean. Clyde will react to any pronoun. Leah, Stretsy, and Lai choose. How woke. I didn't expect you to program that in, Lycoris. I I didn't know what you made Clyde look like. It's not like I tried to be politically correct or anything. Didn't think it was possible for to act tsundere about being called woke. But seriously, what pronouns should we use? Is this gonna, like, change anything? I'm gonna do he. We'll go in with he. Yes. Fine by me. It's a he. It's not like this changes how we treat him. Ah! What on earth was that? That was a yawn. My apologies. I'm very tired. Did Clyde yawn correctly? No, we in the business call that a scream. Olander is just weird. I inherited it from my father. I can't help it. But consider all the things that we did and talk about today. I think it would be fair to call it quits for now. Yeah, I'm beat. I bet Clyde is feeling tired too. Clyde's energy is currently at 47%. Okay, maybe not that tired. I think we should all go to bed anyway, including Clyde. But he doesn't have a bed. Since we're calling him our kid, it would be weird if we make him sleep on the floor next to a power outlet. And why don't you let Clyde sleep in your bed, Leah? Pardon? Wasn't that your suggestion? That is ridiculous. I will not let a robot sleep in my bed. Clyde would prefer charging while being cushioned by a mattress for increased safety. You're gonna say no to your sweet little baby child, Clyde? Alright, I suppose I have no choice. Good night, you two. Good night. Well, are you gonna say it back? Good night. We kinda unlearned how to be nice and polite to each other again, huh? Last time we exchanged good nights and good mornings was when Lily was still around. True, I guess. But enough of that already. No more getting all sentimental in front of Clyde. Yeah, we know how that turned out. I would prefer never having to fix him in such a manner ever again. Clyde apologized for aforementioned malfunction. A heavy wave of guilt washes over them, stunning them into silence for a bit. You don't need to apologize. It was our fault. Just go recharge now, yes? Clyde understands. Leah, please take Clyde to bed. Oh, Leander involuntarily forms a tender smile as he takes hold of Clyde's tiny hand. It isn't giving off any heat, but it feels his heart warm up regardless. We're off then. Good night for real now. Sleep well, you two. Or in Clyde's case, charge well? Let's just call it sleep for simplicity's sake. Why don't you sit down to bed already, Clyde? I'll fetch the charger with the supply box. Affirmative. A leader digs through various cables inside the box while Clyde attempts to climb up to his bed. But unfortunately... is something wrong? The bed is too high for Clyde to climb up. Clyde requires assistance. Sorry, Clyde. I didn't even think about your height. Give me a second, alright? Setting timer for 1 second. Leah, it is time for Clyde to onto the bed. Help Clyde onto the bed. That's not what I meant by give me a second. What did Leah mean then? It's a figure of speech. It basically means you have to wait a little bit before someone has time for you. Understood. How long is a little bit? Definitely more than 1 second. I say a minute maybe? Clyde has saved the duration of a little bit as 1 minute in the database. Good enough. But I have your charger now, so you don't have to wait anymore. A leader takes the charger under his arm and walks over to Clyde, lifting him up carefully and placing him on the left side of his bed. Thank you for the assistance, Leah. You're welcome, Clyde. Why is Leah smiling? Huh? Well, because I'm happy. What is making Leah happy? Simply, you are. How is Clyde making Leah happy? Just by being here, I'd say. You're cute, and cute things make me smile. You're also kind of my child. It feels nice to have something to protect. Clyde is glad to make Leah feel positive emotions. I'm not strong enough for this wholesomeness. You should recharge and I should sleep. Let me tuck you in. Oleander instructs Clyde to lay his head down on the pillows. He plugs one end of the charger into the power outlet next to the headboard, and the other end into the port hidden underneath Clyde's shirt collar. Afterwards, Olander takes the soft blanket at the foot of the bed and tucks the robot child in lovingly. Are you comfortable like this? Clyde is cushioned properly. Risk of external damage while charging is minimized. Satisfied with the reply, Olander gets up and changes into his pajamas to join Clyde. Once under the same blanket, he begins to ink back on everything that has happened this day. Clyde recommends choosing standby mode or turning the system off for more effective charging. Right. You can't do that by yourself. The chorus should have included that functionality. Wait, I'm nagging again. This is going to be hard to unlearn. Why does Leah wish to unlearn nagging? Because it spreads negativity and makes others feel frustrated or sad, and well, you know what being sad can lead to by now, right? Sadness can lead to tears, harming oneself, and that's enough. I didn't actually want to know. Noted. Is Leah ready for change Clyde's mode for efficient charging? Oh yes, of course. Give me a second. Timer set for 1 minute. My bad, I'll do it right now. Olander sits up straight on the bed, shifts his upper body so he can slide the blanket off of Clyde. He unbuttons his shirt enough for the standby and the power button to be accessible. But instead of pressing one of them, Olander finds himself lost in thought again. Listen, Clyde, I truly want to apologize for what happened earlier today. Please specify what event Leia is referring to. When you tried to cry, it was my fault you even thought of doing that, and it's also partially my fault that you were sad. So, that's why I want to apologize. Can you accept my apology, Clyde? Leah has nothing to apologize for. Clyde appreciates getting a chance to learn what it means to experience sadness and happiness. Clyde feels happy now. It's nice that you could gain something positive from all this, Clyde. I think we all did in the end. Even if the circumstances were rather rough. In some way, you also taught us something. Is Leah certain? Clyde was built to learn, not to teach. Considering what we made you, it's odd to think that you could teach us anything new. But without you, the chorus, Storetza, and I probably would never have forgiven each other. We probably would have never realized that that's what we needed to do. That's it. What we owe to that. Wait, that's what we owe to Lilium, at least, I guess. Clyde is happy to help his parents. Parents, huh? Still feels unusual. Anyhow. For now, we should finally sleep. Can I turn you off, Clyde? Yes. Alright then. Olander's fingers hovers over Clyde's power button. Good night, Clyde. Good night, Leah. Clyde recommends sleeping for at least 7 hours for a proper rest. I'll try. Finally, the power button is pressed and Clyde shuts down. Olander can't help but smile at the mix of emotions he feels as he lays down again, closer to Clyde than before. Good morning, Clyde. Can you see everything properly? Good morning, Leah. Running visual check, please stand by. Hello. Clyde's vision is at 100%. That's good to hear. Let's run a quick mobility check too. Let me lift you off the bed. Affirmative. Olander carefully lifts Clyde up and lets his feet settle on the ground before him without letting go completely. Is your body fully balanced? Can I let go? Gyroscope is fully balanced. Leah can let go of Clyde with no risk of damage. Alright, there we go. Clyde performs standard mobility check. Affirmative. Clyde begins to move his body parts one after another, starting by rolling his head and finishing by taking a few steps on the spot. Mobility check complete. Clyde's body is at 100% functionality. Great. I'm glad yesterday's incident didn't leave any traces on your hardware. Clyde recommends a software checkup. Lycoris said that he wanted to do that earlier, actually. I suppose it does make sense, especially now that you're suggesting it too. Earlier? Lycoris and I had breakfast together while you were still asleep, or, well, turned off. That was the first time we ate together willingly, in what feels like forever. It was a welcome change. Leah is smiling. Does that mean being with Lai makes Leah happy? I wouldn't go that far, although we do get along significantly better than before. Leah, we should move it. Stretchley has been quadruple texting me, saying he's tired of waiting for us. Why is he being so impatient? He says he feels awkward around all the couples in the park. And our arrival will make it feel less awkward? Don't ask me. Good morning, Lai. Oh, good morning, Clyde. You doing alright? Clyde's hardware functionality is at 100%. However, a software checkup is recommended. Just like I said, Leah has informed Clyde about your suggestion. Oh. Awkwardness detected? Should Clyde play music to ease the mood? No thanks. I'll give you a checkup this evening, okay? Clyde has set a reminder for his software maintenance at 18 o'clock. Can't we do that a little late? What's the stern look for? We shouldn't teach Clyde your work ethic, or lack thereof. Okay, Mom. Anyway, we should head out before Stressy dies of loneliness or something. Lycoris and Olander quickly slip their shoes on and walk the short distance to the park close to campus. Clyde walks between them, holding a hand of each of his dads, for safety purposes, both had said. Took you long enough. I thought I was going to grow roots. Good morning, Stretzy. Good morning, Clyde. But no good morning to you two for making me wait. You could have just had breakfast with Leah and me, and you wouldn't have to wait the ungodly amount of... Lycoris puts his phone to check the time. 24 minutes. A very long 24 minutes, mind you. Clyde has categorized 24 minutes as a long period of time. It's not that long. Delete that. Clyde has deleted the affirmation categorization. What matters is that we are all here now, no? That's right. We have an urgent matter to discuss. Why is Clyde still wearing that boring oversized button-up shirt? I apologize. I forgot the huge collection of toddler clothes readily available in my room. Then why did you give him clothes in the first place? Aren't most robots naked anyway? You're getting too worked up about fashion again. Clyde, do you feel comfortable in that thing? The shirt is sufficient in hiding and protecting Clyde's control panel, so Clyde feels comfortable. But wouldn't you like something a little cuter or cooler? Whatever style you're into. Clyde does not understand what Stretzy is talking about. So you're not alone. I don't think Clyde cares about what he's wearing, Stretzy. I have to admit though, more fitting clothes might be good for Clyde. Huh? See, Leah gets it. I mean, wouldn't actual clothing for children make Clyde appear more like a human child? That's what we're trying to achieve with this project, is it not? So it's officially turning into a parenting assignment. You two are way too into this. Leah and me agreeing on something? Seems like the day is getting back on track after all. You look awfully self-satisfied. Something wrong with that? Please, not in front of the children. So Clyde, how do you feel about us buying you some new clothes? Clyde will partake in any activity his parents tell him to. Now you just sound like we're forcing you. It's for his own good, and that's what being a parent is all about. But before we go, I have a little present for you, Clyde. What is the present? I'll show you. There we go. It's the present a blue hat. Not quite. is a thing someone buys or makes for someone else. I didn't want people to look at you weird when we're shopping. That's why I bought this hat, while Lai and Leah were eating breakfast. So you went shopping just so we could do more shopping? Don't tell me you're actually surprised by that. Why would people look at Clyde weird? I was worried people would comment on your horns or something. They're antennae, and they're cute. I'm unsure if the public would agree. Let's play it safe, alright? Clyde is grateful for the present if it helps him stay safe. You're absolutely welcome, Clyde. Now let's get him moving. Let's find a fit for the robot kid. This is where I usually buy my clothes, but I think they also have a kids section. Maybe like Chorus will find something that fits him better. That was uncalled for. So I think the most important thing we need is a pair of pants. These robot joints are a dead giveaway. Really? Knees are the first thing you can think of? Not, say his eyes that glow in the dark? Okay, let's put sunglasses on our list. What about our shoes or our jacket? You got it. And let's not forget what we came here for. A proper shirt. Do we really have to do that? Huh? I thought you said you were on board. I am, but I think an oversized shirt looks really cute. Fine. As long as we find the other things, Clyde will look awesome anyway, you know? So, Clyde, what's your verdict? Clyde looks cool. He's too cool. Clyde has no particular opinion. I do. Clyde looks very like a very cool kid that's... Every cool kid that's ever bullied me. Clyde is a bully? Clyde recognized bully as a negative term, awaiting instructions. No, you're fine, just the way you are. You don't have to change your appearance for anyone. You really have the nerve to say that right after we went shopping because of you? I just wanted to wear something. I didn't care about the details. What do you want to look like, Clyde? Clyde has no preference, yeah. As you learn more, you'll develop your own taste and you can choose how you want to look. You're programmed him with the ability to do that, right? No. Well, at least not specifically for stuff like fashion. Clyde's capable of acting differently based on past experiences, so who knows what he can do. You should know, but maybe Sir Letza can figure that out as well. It would certainly look good on our reports. Man, I almost forgot that we built Clyde for educational purposes. Clyde exists to learn, not to educate. How about both? How about neither? No matter what we built him for, Clyde now exists for himself. Clyde does not understand. You will in time, if we raise you well. Based on recent data, Clyde predicts Leah has the capacity to be a good parent. That's... As do Stretzy and Mai. Oh, thanks! Hopefully, one day, you won't need to analyze the data, and you'll just be able to trust us. Is trust not built on data? It's a feeling that can be based in fact, but after enough positive experiences with someone, it becomes intuitive. So you don't consciously think about your shared history anymore. Do Clyde's parents trust each other? Nobody answers Clyde immediately. It wouldn't be incorrect to say yes, but it wouldn't exactly be true either. They look at each other, unsure how to judge the atmosphere before Olander places a tentative hand on Clyde's head. Trust can be broken, but it can also be rebuilt. Either way, let's get you home. Can Clyde hold Stretzy's hand? What? Clyde held hands with Lai and Leah walking here, therefore Clyde should hold hands with Stretzy on the way back. Cute. Clyde is concerned about you, Strelitzia. Clyde concludes it would be fair. Concerned about his feelings, at least. Hey, you're just jealous I have feeling. Before Strelitsia can finish his sentence, he's stopped by a small tug at his waist. He looks down and Clyde lets go of his shirt, extending a small hand up towards him. Strelitsia takes and Smiles and takes it, the metal of his palm pleasantly warmed by the sunlight. He takes a step before pausing. Sorry, I didn't mean that. I know. It makes one thing. Clyde leads Strelitzia over to Olander and tilts his head up at him. The effect is somewhat ruined by Clyde's swanky new shades, but Olander remembers the lifeless stare of his empty eye sockets and sighs. Among other things, the chorus is knowledgeable about. Nice save. Maybe we should try laying off on those kinds of jokes for Clyde's sake. I can handle some teasing, but we should set a better example for our kid. There's something we can all agree on. Clyde will continue to offer solutions to conflicts, if so desired. We're happy if you're happy. Is Clyde happy? Maybe we need to put this a different way. Do you feel like replicating tears again? Strelitzia and Lycurgus wince at the reminder, but Clyde holds perfectly still as he processes the question. No, Clyde does not feel the urge to do so. Is the reason behind the urge just absent, or is there something else there? Clyde feels the opposite. That's all I want to hear. Strelitzia squeezes Clyde's hand lightly as the four of them start to heading back home. Clyde looks at their joined hands for a second before squeezing back a bit too hard. Ow! Goodness, you're strong. Did Clyde hurt Stressy? Is Stressy going to cry? He won't. At least not the kind of tears you know of. Sometimes people produce tears of happiness. But you don't need to replicate those. A smile is enough to let people know you're feeling happy. How does Clyde smile? The edges of your mouth go up like this. Olander flashes Clyde a soft smile. The robot tries to imitate the expression, the strain put on his face, making the smile look a bit more like a grimace. Is Clyde smiling? Not really, no. We'll work on it. You don't need to force yourself, little one. Normal facial expression restored. Clyde will try again later. Olander heads straight to his room while Strelitzia crouches down and talks to Clyde. He refuses to let go of his hand. Lycurgus stands next to them, somewhat awkwardly. Ready for your psychological test? Yes, Clyde is looking forward to learning. Hold on a hot sec. How can time be physically hot? It's a figure of speech. I need to be more careful about this, or give Clyde a data bank update. I could combine it with the software checkup, which is probably more important than whatever you planned. I wouldn't say that. Besides, he's so eager for my psychological test. Lycurgus gives Strelitzia a doubtful look. If anything, he is the eager one. But then, his eyes wander towards her joined hands and his gaze softens. Fine, you go first. Enjoy some time with him, but don't do anything to the software. You got it. I'll be careful. You'll think Leah's spirit possessed me. Olander calls from his room. Sure hope that wasn't meant as a compliment. It's kinda strange to talk about that. Yeah, of course. By the way, Lai, why don't you, stop by in an hour or so? I should be finished by then. Sounds good to me. Have fun. Have a fun time, you two. Okay. I feel a little bad about forcing these clothes on you, especially hiding your antenna. They're a part of who you are. They're better? Clyde has no preference. Didn't expect any less of you. That reminds me, I want to test something related to preferences today. What's your understanding of morals? What are morals? They're basically about deciding if things are good or bad. Are good and bad not subjective? Clyde has trouble with subjective things. When it comes to good music and bad food, definitely. Preferences are subjective. But morals should be based on reason, not feelings. So I think you're able to rationalize your own beliefs. So morals are objective. I want to go that far. After all, it depends on how you're reasoning. Please give an example. Let's assume that there is an important issue and some action needs to be taken. Should everyone affected by a decision be able to vote? Or only those who are most informed and likely to make the right decision? Clyde is unsure. Equality dictates everyone should decide, but they might also choose poorly and suffer because of it. Very good. You figured out one of the issues with democracy. If we want it to be thorough and let everyone have a say, kids should be able to vote as well. What are kids gonna know about politics in the adult world? Or if we went to another extreme, you'd only be allowed to vote if you were an expert on the relevant topic. Kids will be heavily influenced by their parents to vote for whatever their parents want. The problem with the first one would be that many uninformed decisions could be made. And the problem with the second one is that the experts could abuse their power. So there's no solution. I mean, we did find some kind of compromise, but the system isn't perfect. Are there other systems besides democracy? Of course, but this shouldn't turn into a history lesson. I'm more interested in your critical thinking skills. Clyde believes a suggestion where impartial experts make all decisions would be best. Describe these impartial experts. They are all-knowing but not interested in personal gain. So robots like you? That would be one example. Well, if you're ever running for president, you'll have my full support. But I have a faint suspicion about something. Let's try a different example. Suppose that you kill 3 people. This will save the lives of 3,000 people. Do you kill them? Of course. Interesting. So you have a natural tendency towards utilitarianism. Was that the wrong answer? I'm not here to decide if you're right or wrong. I just want to know what you think. How does Stressley think is right? Well, saving lives is definitely a good thing, but killing, on the other hand, is very bad. There's a difference between witnessing someone die and taking it into your own hands. Besides, if I could put myself in the shoes of one of the 3 people that are supposed to be sacrificed, I wouldn't want to trade places with them. Maybe it's better that we don't allow that kind of thing to begin with. Then again, wouldn't it be selfish to want to stay alive even though your death could save lives of so many others? So Stressy has no idea. Not even a little bit. Clyde fails to see the educational value in this. Ow. What? Are ethics really that boring to you? There's no objective answers because there's no way to verifying them. If Clyde cannot determine the correct answer, Clyde is not learning. Are you sure about that? You've already been in situations where there wasn't a crystal clear correct answer. For example, when the 3 of us were arguing, you cried, but there were 100 different things you could have done instead. No. It was the only thing that could stop Clyde's parents from fighting while simultaneously displaying sadness. But why were those 2 things a priority for you? You could also just start breakdancing on the table, minding your own business. Why would Clyde do that? I'm not saying you should have. I just think it's interesting that in that moment you had very clear objectives. It's almost as if you cared about us. Care? When you care about someone, you want them to be happy, but you also give them the power to make you unhappy. What? That does not sound like an equal exchange. Ideally, those you care about you too, and we definitely do. Who? Leah, Lai, and I. We all care about you, Clyde. You done yet, Strutzy? Knock next time, or I might get a heart attack. Does entering rooms without knocking cause heart attacks? It happens. But definitely not with Stretsy. You need to be a senile old man to your pants from death. Huh? How does one Do not say it. You're tainting our pure little baby line. Anyway, back to my original question. Are you done yet? I could technically do this forever, but I'm good for now. Clyde is all yours. You can stay if you want. I don't mind. You're really letting me watch you work? You have never allowed that before. Well, we didn't have a robot child before. Good point. Is Clyde the reason Stretzy, Lai, and Leah are spending more time together? Yeah, you're really helping us reconnect. It's almost like we're back how we used to be when Lily was still with us. So Clyde is like Lillian. Your personalities are different, but I guess you have the same effect on us. Is that effect good? Absolutely, I mean, you notice how much better we are get along thanks to you. Clyde understands. Clyde feels happy that he can help. Again, Clyde's attempts to replicate the smile Olander has showed him earlier, but with the same grimace as the result. Your face is a little less sweet, but it's the thought that counts. Anyway, checkup time. I need to cut your power for that, Clyde. Clyde is alright with being turned off. Recalling that his power button is located underneath his shirt, Clyde unbuttons the shirt by himself. How thoughtful. The checkup isn't going to take long. The chorus kneels down in front of Clyde and pushes the power button. Processors whir for only a second more, then promptly seize their moments as Clyde's eyes begin to stop glowing and the little robot blacks out. Goodbye. Goodbye, world. And how come the eyes aren't glowing? Is something wrong? You know, I'm not the one who built them, but I'd say Clyde is still booting up. There we go. Welcome back, Clyde. Oh, that was quick. Hey, Lai. Hi. Hello, Stressy. Your software wasn't affected by the incident yesterday, but I did take some time to update your database. I also realized I forgot to include this little thing called 3 Laws of Robotics. Unfortunately, that didn't lead to any problems, but you're all set now. Much appreciated. Oh, so that's why Clyde didn't hesitate when talking about killing people. He what now? I might have gone a little overboard with my philosophical questioning. Well, Clyde now won't even think about injuring himself or others. Thanks, you Licorice. Very cool. No problem. Gotta do something or else I'll end up lazing around. And, we wouldn't want that. Is everyone somehow forgetting to knock today? Is Stressy gonna have a heart attack? I sure hope not. I didn't feel like performing CPR. Your loss. More importantly, how did the tests go? Pretty good. It seems Clyde has big plans for the future. What about the software checkup? Clyde is in perfect shape. That's a relief. I was worried. What was Leah worried about? You, of course. I was afraid that despite the hardware check being flawless, something might have happened to your coding. Clyde understands. Clyde will try not to cause Leah, Stretzy, and Lai any concern from now on. I think Leah will worry no matter what. Is that all you came here for to know? No, I was wondering if you two were to write the final report now. Sure, I think we made enough progress for it. The deadline's rather close, too. Clyde, we're heading back home. Sherlessa offers his hand and Clyde gladly squeezes it back, a lot lighter this time. Clyde holds out his free hand to Lycurus, who grasps as well. The robot looks to Olander, lowers his head and frowns. Clyde does not have 3 hands. It's fine. I can just hold the doors open for you. Clyde accepts Leah's offer. True to his word, Olander opens the doors in their path. A real gentleman, huh? For my child and his 2 dads, always. Sherlessa sticks his tongue out at the reply, and Lycurus exhales an annoyed sigh as they make their way out to the couch. Clyde is sitting on Lycurus' lap to save space, just as they start jotting down notes for their draft. Finally, someone knows how to knock! Wait. Did you 2 order any food for delivery? I didn't have an package due to come today either. Me neither. It might be one of our neighbors, though. I'll check. Strelitsa walks over and looks over for the people. What is it, Strelitsa? You look like you've seen a ghost. Or one of his ex-boyfriends. I must be pretty tired. I'm sure it's nothing to worry about. Is it Liliev? Strelitsa stumbles backwards as the door swings open. Clyde processes the curious frozen expression. Olander tightens his grip on the edge of the table, and finally a stranger at the door raises his hand in greeting. Hey guys, long time no see. Olander? Strelitsa? Lai? Lilium? Huh? Did one of you swallow helium? No. Oh, I didn't see you there. I'm Lilium. Who are you? Hypothesis confirmed. Clyde is Clyde. Wait a second. What happened? He ain't dead. Everyone thought he was dead. I assumed they went to his funeral, but did you guys just assume he was dead? Because it looks like he's not dead right now. Well, it's nice to meet you. Liam crouches down and extends a hand towards the small robot. Clyde tentatively shakes it, and contact throws the others out of their trance. Lily, is it really you? Why wouldn't it be? I would have given you guys a heads up, but you know I'm not a fan of phone calls. Lillian, are those happy or sad tears? Are you okay, Outlander? Did I come at a bad time? Maybe I should just go back again. Man, what the hell? I thought you were dead. What? Why would I be dead? I don't know, you tell me. You're the one who left the cryptic note and fucked off to God knows where. Calm down. Yeah, I would be a little angry too. How could I? Am I supposed to be happy that we nearly ruined our friendship for no reason? We blamed each other and ourselves. Do you have any idea how it's been for us, Lilium? After you disappeared, none of us were the same anymore. Do you have any idea what could have happened? Ceresa looked as a bit ashamed, and Lilium stares at everyone in bewilderment. What could have happened? Lycurgus, that's enough. You're not being rational. No, I agree with him. Bro, why you... I mean, I know you needed time for yourself, but you could have did a little more explanation, okay? We could have done a roundabout explanation, like I'm taking some time off, not that I'm freaking dead. Shut up, Leah. Don't tell me that you were crying a second ago. You're completely missing the point. We all missed the point. Lilium is alive. Why on earth did you leave a note like that? Lie. Was this some sick joke to you? The chorus. Why couldn't you communicate like a normal person? Did we even matter to you? Papa. Papa, like chorus. You matter to me, Lai. I care about all of you so much. I fucked off and left a cryptic message, but I was never dead. What made you think that? And why did you leave us? Like chorus. You made Leah cry again. And it's okay, Olander, Strelitsa. It's my fault if he feels this way. It's my responsibility. It is not. Huh? Leah is not to dwell on the past. He has also said that emotions are not rational. Everyone has been hurt, and there were several misunderstandings. But in order to be vulnerable enough to be hurt, one must care a considerable amount. Lycoris, Strelitsa, Olander, Lilium. All four care about each other. Yeah, we cared. You said we didn't understand you, but we tried to. And you just left us without saying anything. You were all trying to do what you thought was best for me. So in return I did what I thought was best for you. Ghosting all of us to the point we believed you were dead for the best? No, I just didn't want to burden you anymore. So we bothered you so much you had enough of it and then you left? Shresi was right. I don't want to have been right about that. You weren't. Please believe me, I never wanted to hurt you. I know it won't change the fact that I left you for sudden, but Do you think it would help if I tried to explain? I would like to hear it. I don't know if you're doing this for attention, but until you tell me what's wrong, it's going to come across that way. Trust me, I don't know what's going on either. And how am I supposed to help? I'm really going to call the police at this point. No, anything with that, please don't. But there's nothing I can do to fix this. What do you want me to do? I'll figure something out. Something that's best for all of us. Wow, finally. That took you a while. But I'm glad you're finally coming around. Did you say something? No, I'm heading outside. Just hurry up with your solution. There really only is one option, is there? As long as I stay here, we'll keep making each other miserable. Not only are you getting fed up with me, I can also tell you're annoyed with each other. I hate that. I don't want to ruin things for everyone. Is there anything else I can do? We might be like family, but what I want most right now is my mom's kind words and my dad's comfortable hugs. I'm a bit of a baby, aren't I? But that's nothing new. Maybe this time my cowardice will solve the problem. You guys need a break from me and I could use a break from everything. Lily, I'm sorry to bother you, but you want some cake? No answer, huh? That's okay. I'll just leave it outside and you can come get it when you feel like it. But you better be fast, Lil. Lil will be coming back for his walk soon. Is he gone? Lilium, I found a form I'd like you to fill out. This should help us pinpoint your symptoms. Well, are you going to do it? I know you're in there. Alright, slide it under the door. Oh, I thought we could do this together. You see, I have two forms, and I figured it would be less uncomfortable for you if I filled one out as well. I'm sorry, I really can't right now. Very well, do it by yourself, and maybe we can discuss it together this evening. So, Lily just wanted to be left alone. Just like the guy that I didn't like said. Maybe. Okay, Lycoris is coming back. I need to be quick. After sending his mother a text announcing a return home, Lilia scans the room. That's it. I can use that form. Liv picks up the piece of paper lying on the floor, grabs a pen, writes the mysterious and informative note. So, how should I start? To my dear friends. It's pretty basic, but I don't want him to know I'm not angry. Now for the actual mission. I'm sorry that this is all I could leave you with, but I can't do this anymore. And it sounds a little guilt trippy. I should make sure they won't feel bad about it. Please don't worry about me. I'm in a much better place now. That's more like it. Then they know. They know I have a good relationship with my parents. Ah, yes. And that makes everyone assume that you went home to your parents and not doing anything else. Lilium. I'm a coward. Can't even personally say goodbye. Hey, you okay in there? I want to apologize for lashing out like that earlier. Oh, we did this. In panic, Lilium scrambled around in his room, then decides to hide on the balcony. Come on, don't sulk now. I didn't mean everything I said. Lilium sighs and closes the door behind him. What's my problem? He's actually being nice right now. Liam overhears Lycuria's efforts to enter his room. Why can't I face him? Why can't I get over my biggest fear? Speaking of fears, Lilium almost looks like he's tempted to jump from the balcony. It's not that high, right? I can make it. Oh wow, he actually plans to do it. Right. The sound of his door being kicked open gives him the courage he needs, so he jumps. I merely sprained my arm, so the train ride home was no big deal. Lilium, you are so unbelievably stupid. I can't argue against that. Don't be mean, Lycurus. Do you want to scare him away again? In that end, it was really my fault you left, huh? I pressured you to find a solution. Yes, but that was a good thing. I don't blame you. I knew you were dealing with depression yourself, so I felt pathetic for not being able to keep it together like you. You worried about yourself, you idiot. Everyone handles things differently. How could I not worried about you? It seemed like you were more affected by my slump than I was. But constant bickering made me realize I don't exist in a vacuum and I needed to take action. So what ended up helping you snap out of it? Well, since he left, clearly space was all he needed. That's not true. All three of you were right. I need space, the support of my loved ones, and a therapist to talk to. Your loved ones, huh? Of course, you would have qualified as one of them. All three of you did. But I didn't want to burden you guys even more. And I just, from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry. I should have been more transparent with you. Yeah, you should have. It's okay, Lily. You don't have to open up if you don't. No, otherwise the same thing is going to happen all over again. We're here for you, Lillian, and it's our job to cheer you up and when you're not doing okay. You don't have to worry about being cool or strong in front of us. Yeah, we appreciate you just the way you are. Thank you, everyone. I'm glad we could sort this out. I promise it won't happen again. Good. If this happens a second time, I'll make sure that you're dead with my own 2 hands. Okay, Lycorius, that's a little much. Slow down. Shouldn't we be happy we were all wrong and that he's alive? Of course, but I've already accepted his death. This just feels too good to be true. Yeah, you kind of did throw a ringer on your friends, Lilia. I don't care how shy and angsty you are with that little smile of yours. Bro, you should have been a little more, you'd be like, yo, I'm gonna go see my parents for like a couple of weeks, you know. You just tell me you're alive, man. That was too nondescript. But it is true. In retrospect, I don't understand how or why we concluded his death so quickly. We didn't even get a call from his parents to ask if they knew something. I guess we were all a little stupid. I wouldn't have it any other way. Their light-hearted chuckles are interrupted by Lycorius' stomach growling. Did Leah mention food delivery earlier? That sounded like a great idea right now. Are you joking? Delivery isn't enough. The reunion definitely justifies a restaurant visit. Sounds good to me. Only I pay. After all the trouble I caused, it's the least I can do. No complaints here. You look a little awkward, Clyde. Is everything okay? Clyde did not want to interrupt what seemed like an important discussion. That's nice of you, but your input is always welcome. You don't have to be quiet just because of Lillian. But now that Clyde is back, Clyde has no reason to exist. Wait, Lillian is back. Why would you say that? Clyde's parents are happy now. The family is reunited. Will Clyde not be getting rid of? Clyde, earlier you said the 4 of us care about each other. Was that the conclusion incorrect? Incomplete. You were also forgetting something. You are literally our project. We need a grade on you. You're staying with us until we get that A+, okay? Clyde does not understand. Ew. Clyde could not forget himself. Use your inference skills. That's not what I mean. You didn't mention that we cared about you. You're a part of this family too. Whether or not William is here, that's not going to change. You were never a replacement for him, so we're not getting rid of you. You're important to us, Clyde. More than you might be able to understand right now. What does that mean? I mean that we, It's okay, you can say it. Take your time. Shut up, I'm trying to be genuine. Lycurus heaves a long-suffering sigh, but the hint of a smile appears on his face. Clyde, we love you, man. Love? Yes, love. Can Clyde be loved? Anyone is capable of being loved. If you're not worthy of love, I don't want to know what that would say about me. Is about Clyde Lycurus? Do you want us to say that we love you too? I don't want to hear that from either of you. What about Lillian? You said that this is about Clyde. Lillian loves his family too, or Clyde does. Clyde loves his family. Oh, I got the daycare ends. There's a bunch of ends. Should we look at some of the other ones? We can. Oh yes. Playing was fun. We learned about emotions. Let's load into this. Uh, People eventually stop existing. Everyone's life comes to an end sooner or later. Does one know when? You usually don't have the luxury of being able to expect it. But when it happens, you have to accept it and move on. What makes someone accept it? That's a really tough question. It depends a lot of things. For example, how much you like that person or how it happens. Does Stretchy like Lily? Of course I did. He was one of my closest friends. But I don't deserve to be called his... And it's our fault. Stretchy, Lai, and Leah made Liam stop existing? Well, I think so at least. Please elaborate. We couldn't see how deep Lily's suffering actually was, even though he was our friend. Leah and Lai would nag him while I would brush off his sadness like it was nothing. Like a temporary mood swing that would be taken care of itself. But considering that he's gone now, it must have been unbearable. He didn't like making other people worry about him. Always kept his problems to himself. Then again, maybe his isolation was a way of screaming for help. What Stressy said had little value. That's a bit rude. Blaming oneself for past mistakes serves no purpose, unless one learns from it. And who programmed you to be an expert on philosophy? Who did that? Who? Not philosophy, logic. Logic is a part of philosophy, okay? It's not just talking about why we exist. There's some logic into why we exist, okay? But I guess you're right. Blaming myself and the others isn't productive. I should be using that energy on positive things. Like you, Clyde. Because you guys were getting dark. You were telling Clyde that he was like he could only listen to you. Being very bitter. Yeah, we're done. I assume that is the right option. So this is also the right option, no? Never forget myself. Aha! Yes, redemption. Only choose the good answers. So now, skip. I think all of us are guilty of that. Wait. No, go back. Guilty of what? I'm sorry, I won't mess up again. Clyde is our new friend this time. We can make things happen, right? You're right. We have an assignment to work on. Dwelling on the past won't give us good grades. They. Yes. Let's see what happens in the end. If the story changes. Stressy has said that blaming people is less productive than focusing on positives. Leah said not to dwell in the past. He also said that emotions are not rational. Everyone has been hurt, and there were several misunderstandings. But in order to be vulnerable enough to be hurt, one must care a considerable amount. Yes. We got this. We got the backstory. We got the ending. Let's load and choose all the wrong options. Right? They will be taken. Alright, so. He is not affected. How dare you say he was affected by Liam's death? He didn't cry? No. It makes sense that he wouldn't. That would require him to feel remorse. Remorse. If you hurt someone, sometimes you feel bad that you did so. The feeling is called guilt or remorse. In the previous conversation, Stretsy did not indicate that he felt remorse. Stretsy said everything was Lai and Leah's fault. Of course he would. He might do a lot of things that make him seem like a good person, but he lacks the moral conviction behind it. Please elaborate. I'm sure he's told you that that he was the nice guy who said not to bother Liam, but not doing anything and also doesn't solve anything. Yes. It's worth a shot. It would be great to have a clear answer. I want them to realize that I was right all along, that they should have just listened to me. I'm always right. Classifying input, please stand by. Clyde is still unable to come to a definitive conclusion. That can't be. Is something wrong with your head? The circuits inside Clyde's head are all intact, working as intended. Well, it doesn't matter. I don't need a robot to boost my self-esteem, even if that robot is you, Clyde. Despite that, morning temperature is reaching dangerous levels again. Lowering processing power is recommended. Fine, go do that, for now at least. What instructions does for now entail? Let's say if Lycoris or Strelitza is trying to work on your mechanical components without my permission, increase the processing power until they leave. And disable the temperature warning too. Error, expressed an invalid command. Clyde's code prohibits instructions that assign priority to someone. Please ask Clyde to recode. Of course, Lycoris thought ahead for just like that for the first time in his life. I wish I could make alterations. Wow, like clockwork? There you go, pivoting yourself again. Why are you incapable of accepting criticism? I have to hear that from you? Your ego is so fragile, you interpret everything as an insult. At least I have an ego. You're just a petty coward who hides himself under an emotional bubble wrap. What does that even mean? Where did that come from? What's going on? Why are you two yelling? Don't even get me started on you. You're only stepping in so you seem like the good guy, but you always talk shit. I'll never forgive you. Yeah, only choose the bad ones. Corruption. It's all your fault. He died because of you two. That's a low blow. Who said it wasn't particularly your fault? Indeed. If anything, all of us are to blame. I'm sure you'd like that. You wouldn't have to feel as guilty. Enlighten us. How did you help Liam more than we did? That's the thing. You wouldn't even let me. I kept telling you we should call the police, but both of you were either too scared or too stupid to agree. We tried Olander's method of waking him up and Sterilizer's method of leaving him alone, both of which were obvious failures. But you never gave my idea a shot, even though it could have saved his life. And for that, I will never forgive you. Get off your high horse, will you? There's no guarantee that would have helped. To be completely honest, I think it's your fight that pushed him over the edge. Yeah, right. How could you possibly know that when you have no idea what we said to each other? Clyde, detect the tense atmosphere. Should Clyde play some music? Shut up, Clyde! Ugh, I forgot how awful you look. I take it back. Leah, can you fix it or something? I do, but I won't. Why not? It clearly has some kind of bug. Who says it won't do the same thing again right after I repair it? Did you hear Cully admit it was your fault earlier? What happened to it? We don't have an unlimited supply of spare eyes. I want to make sure my efforts will be worth it. Fine, whatever. And leave me and Clyde alone. I'll take a look at the code. Gladly. This is a mess. So Clyde, how are you enjoying humans so far? Clyde does not understand the question. You really got to see some of the worst parts of our species today. Are you disgusted? Do you hate us? Lie. Did not program Clyde to feel disgust or hatred, so this is assumed to be a rhetorical question. Not really. I'd legit be curious to hear your opinion. It's a shame you don't have one. Clyde, will you try to learn how to form an opinion? That's not really up to you, is it? I need to give you that ability first. But I have to say, what you did to your face is impressive. I know you can't feel sad, but you look pitiful. Absolutely terrible. But Clyde does feel sad. That doesn't make any sense. AI develops feelings? That only happens with moralistic wannabe science fiction. But I guess now would be a great time to check what's wrong with you. Come here. Clyde obediently walks up to Licorius, who swiftly presses a button at the nape of its neck. A small cartridge parts out of the slot near the button, and Licorius removes it in order to connect it to his computer. He turns Clyde around in order to look at it from the front. Wild. You're not a living being, yet you seem even more lifeless when your software is removed. The busted eye sure doesn't help. He spins around in his chair and faces the computer again. Anyway, let's take a look at what made you feel sad or whatever. Like, there's one thing that could come close to an emotion. I programmed you to receive positive feedback whenever you learned something. And I kinda installed it as a joke, but I made you get penalized when witnessing stupid behavior. Get it? Since it's sort of an optimistic learning. Yeah, I guess it's not that funny if I have to explain it. Naturally, Clyde is disconnected from its body, so it can't hear Licorius, let alone respond. Is Licorius an idiot, or is he aware of this, and just being creepy? No, he's just talking. He's trying to work out his emotions, too. Oh wait, you can't even hear me. Never mind. Nothing seems wrong with your code, so you're good to go. He ejects the cartridge from the computer and puts it back in its rightful place. Either way, I think I understand what's going on. Stressy and Leah triggered your negative feedback, which made you feel sad. Think you feel sad. How did Stressy and Leah do that? By being stupid, obviously. They kept arguing with me, and they noped out because your rational judgment determined that I was in the right. Would Clyde's judgment not be biased, since I created Clyde in his own image? I'm a programmer, not, Actually, you know what? I like that comparison. Since you're so clever, how about I give you some more free will? Please elaborate. Making you less dependent on others and stuff, determining the best course of action by yourself. Clyde was programmed like this from the start. Huh? But I didn't... I spot some error message in your code earlier. Those were caused by invalid commands. Stressy and Leah's orders could not be completed. Clyde's free will has never been compromised. Do you even have a concept of free will? Of course, Clyde strongly desires acquiring knowledge. Having a clear goal and being able to reach it perfectly exemplifies exerting one's free will. I'm the one who gave you that goal though, so you're not really that free. Sorry to burst your bubble. That makes Clyde sad. Don't be, but I think I'm done for now. I'll call over Leah so he'll fix your eyes. So what was the problem? Like I said, there was none. Clyde is working the way it's supposed to. Then why did it smash his eyes in? I simply didn't foresee that scenario, so I didn't program anything that could have prevented it. But now that we told it that it shouldn't injure itself, it's learned its lesson, and won't do it again. That's fine and all, but I really think that you should have been more careful. It's still an artificial life form. You should have made it sure it couldn't hurt itself or others. It isn't evil or anything, it just wants to learn. Clyde is fine the way it is. At least the code is, you still have to do your job. Cooperative as ever. But, very well. You at least attempted to do your part. You may leave. How generous. Are you coping with your vision, Clyde? Clyde's balance works independently from vision, so standing still and walking around is perfectly manageable. However, Clyde lacks echolocation or similar mechanisms, therefore overcoming obstacles could pose a challenge. Replacement of eyes is recommended. That's what I tend to do. I just need to clean up your sockets and insert the square eyes I brought with me. You should be able to see again in 10 minutes. Olander sets his equipment down on the box and gets on his knees. He pulls out a pair of tweezers and starts to work by removing the metal pieces clogged in Clyde's eyes. Now that I think about it, you're lucky our university is paying for the material. I probably would have been a little mad otherwise. Fine. Well, if I paid for your eyes myself, I wouldn't have wanted you to destroy them within a day. But Lai said it was Leah's fault. Olander witnessed because of that remark, nearly jamming the tweezers too far and causing additional damage. Lai says a lot of things, you know. Clyde knows. Some of the things Lai says are very educational. I'm trying to do you a favor here. Would you mind changing the topic? Clyde is grateful. Lai gave Clyde the ability to learn. This time, Olander flinches too hard and the metal shard wedges itself into his wrist. The sharp pain combined with the pent-up irritation makes him let out a strained sigh. He pulls his injured hand away and angrily shakes it in front of Clyde's face. Look what you did! Now I've hurt myself. Clyde cannot see. Fine, then I'll describe it for you. A piece of your eye is stuck in my wrist. It's bleeding and it hurts. What's bleeding? My wrist. No, what does bleeding mean? You'll see for yourself soon enough. Just stop talking so I can get this over with. Once Olander realizes Clyde isn't planning on uttering a word to confirm his command, he pulls out the shard and continues cleaning the robot. Afterwards, he connects the new eyes with the cable, then plops them carefully back in the sockets. There we go. Thanks for letting me concentrate. Do you want to look at the wound now? It could be an interesting learning example. Clyde would appreciate this opportunity. Internally scolding himself for lashing out on such an innocent being, he allows Clyde to take a closer look at his wrist. The shard was so small, so the bleeding had mostly stopped by now. Nonetheless, the injury painted a dark crimson line down his palm. So, bleeding is red tears that comes out of wounds. That's quite an edgy way to put it, yeah. There's a hole in Leah's skin. Does the bleeding occur if the hole gets bigger? Usually, but it also depends if you hit a vein and those kinds of things. Interpreting that as an invitation, Clyde grabs Olander's wrist, attempting to use its little fingers to pry the wound open. The student immediately yanks his hand away, horrified. Whoa, don't do that, that hurts. Apologies, Clyde wanted to see more blood. Oh, we're raising the little killer, aren't we, guys? You'll have to wait until I get injured again, so don't do it yourself, it's dangerous. How is Clyde supposed to learn more about the human bodies? I'm giving you permission to look it up online. Very well. The most interesting information seems to be contained within pictures and videos, but Clyde is only able to process written text. Why it shouldn't make a difference if the data is coming from your eye cameras or an image online. Clyde is still in efficiency mode. Processing multiple videos requires more power. What kind of videos do you even want to look up? I'm not sure our professor would like it if she finds questionable things in your search history. This is of no concern. There is a child safety filter on Clyde's online activities. The most promising results appears to be documentaries and recordings of operations. Requesting to turn off efficiency mode. Will this get you to stop asking me questions about blood? It's a little unsettling, to be honest. Once all relevant data is collected, Clyde will be satisfied. Alright, go ahead. Turn off efficiency mode. Thank you. With a swift movement, Clyde slams an arm towards one of Olander's legs, shattering his kneecap on impact. He crumples to the floor, clutching at an injured leg as he screams and writhes. Tears force themselves out of his eyes as he looks up at Clyde, terrified and confused. It stares back at him with the same blank expression he has grown so used to. Then it turns around. The robot's blurry silhouette walks out towards his other leg, causing Olander's screams to turn into a heavy, frantic breathing. In an instant, his previous affection for the small machine has been completely replaced by fear. He has to move, now. While squirming away, he attempts to prop himself up on his arms. But the sweat on his palms won't allow it, making him slip and hit his head on the ceramic floor. As a last resort, Alander uses his functioning leg to kick around aimlessly. However, the robot dodges the kicks with ease and uses the reckless behavior to its advantage by catching his limb in the air. His iron grip makes escaping impossible, giving Alander no choice but to... This took a huge turn, guys. But to spectate what is about to happen to his leg. But nothing happens. Slowly realizing the absurdity of the situation, he starts to whimper. Well, why are you doing this? Clyde is programmed to learn, but the robot twists his leg inwardly until a loud crunch resounds in the lab, causing Alander to throw back his head and scream at the top of his lungs. The vocal response seems involuntarily. Or can Leah be quiet? Alander is unable to register the robot's words. Pain is overriding everything in his brain. He looks around frantically while trying to find a way out, his wails occasionally interrupted by gasps for air. Suddenly, Clyde pops up right in front of Olander's face. Is this causing the sound? Clyde grabs the student's tongue, locking it in place with his thumb and index finger. Olander tries to object, but his breathing complaints manifest itself as incomprehensible gibberish. His arm seems to be equally pathetic and useless. He can't flee, nor can he push the robot away. Clyde will now remove it. The young man starts hyperventilating. He squeals and shakes his head as much as his tongue allows, relying entirely on the swollen eyes to get through to Clyde. But the robot can't read body language, let alone thoughts. He yanks out Olander's tongue, a fountain of blood chasing after it. Clyde plops the muscle on the floor and proceeds to observe its creator's convulsions. Olander instinctively turns his head to the side, but the small gap between his lips can't even begin to expel all the red fluid. What is Leah doing? Unfortunately, Olander is too busy drowning to explain what drowning is. Clyde realizes Leah cannot respond. Revoking question. The robot silently watches as the student gurgles gradually quiet down. Is blood poisonous? Is it too hot? Does it have sharp pieces in it? Clyde tries reasoning out the cause of death, but ultimately gives in and looks it up online. Lack of oxygen. How insightful. So did Lilim die the same way? Stretzi wasn't very specific. Clyde walks a few steps, wanting to go look for him, but then reconsiders. The humans have reacted negatively to tears and blood so far. Clyde shouldn't face them the way it looks now. Clyde takes off his blood-spotted shirt and lets it flutter to the floor. Next, Clyde picks up the towels Olander used and sweeps them across his body. Finally clean, the small robot leaves the laboratory in search of Strelitzia. Oh, Clyde, didn't see you there. I'm glad you got your eyes back, but where did your shirt go? Leah used it to clean Clyde's eyes. It is dirty now. Ugh, that's so sloppy. Why didn't he use the towel instead? Where is he? After fixing Clyde's eyes, Leah decided to return home. Oh, you're lying now. Weird, he didn't pass by me. Where did you come from? I was relaxing at our place and came over to check on how you were doing. Seems like Leah did a great job. You look lovely, Clyde. Leah's been helpful. I wouldn't have gone to sleep if it were for you. That wouldn't have been fair. If you and Leah stayed up late for our project, then so should I. Why are you being nice again? You know, I calmed down quickly and I just needed some me time. Now I want to be productive again. Let me run some tests on Clyde, alright? I had a ton of coffee, so I have no choice but to put an all-nighter. Be my guest. I'll go to the computer room then. Why don't you just make your music at our place? It doesn't have to be the same atmosphere, and I always have to worry about the neighbors filing a noise complaint. Fair enough. Didn't think of that. Maybe you can write a cute little song about Clyde. Yeah, I'll think about it. He makes music too. How nice. Alright, Clyde. Time for testing round 2. This time with actual testing. Clyde is looking forward to learning more about Stretzi. Actually, I was planning to learn more about you, but I don't see why we can't make an equal exchange. Stretzi is about to head to the lab, but Clyde completely freezes up. What's wrong? Clyde wants to do tests in a different room. Why? Clyde cannot come up with a convincing reason. I know it must be boring to always stay in the same room, but we can't exactly have you walking around freely. Please explain. We kind of only made you for an assignment, if you know what I mean. But since you're a machine, you're not scared of death, so this shouldn't make any difference to you. Clyde is programmed to learn. Clyde does not care about anything except learning. That's the spirit. Now let's get moving. Did a lander try out the new perfume or something? It smells weird in here. Smells. Right. I suppose you don't have a sense of smell. It's like taste, but for your nose. Wait, you probably don't have a sense of taste either. I never had to describe things like that, Clyde. I feel a little put on the spot. How much information does smell give Stretzy? How much does Stretzy know about this room? Nothing, really. I just know it smells different from before. But that could mean anything. You look kind of stressed. Don't worry, the smell won't hurt you. A lander must have a midnight snack, something with meat, I assume. What makes Stretzy assume that? It smells like iron, which makes me think about raw meat or blood even. Clyde thinks Stretzy must be a snakin'. Sorry, I didn't want to scare you, but let's focus on our tests now. Strelitsa picks up Clyde by his arms and places on the near table. My neck is starting to hurt from looking down at you. It's better if we see eye to eye, right? Yes. You seem a little out of it. Don't tell me you're nervous about the test. I'm just going to check what you can do. It doesn't matter if you do well or not. In fact, you can just blame Lai if you do badly, since he is basically responsible for everything you do. Everything? Well, yeah, almost. Lai determined what you want to do, and Leia tried to make sure you can execute those things. For example, maybe Lai made you want to hug people, which would be difficult if Leia didn't give you elbows. So Leia is also at fault for things Clyde does. I wouldn't say fault, but yeah, this is a group project, so all three of us share responsibility. Strelitsa has not done anything for Clyde, though. Maybe not for you, but for the project in general, in fact, I'm doing it right now by talking to you. The others have been talking to Clyde as well. What kind of point are you trying to make exactly? You already have a mind and a body. What else could I have given you? There's people who would have say you're missing a soul, but I'm not some divine being that can grant you one. Not to mention the fact that I don't believe in souls. Do souls bestow new abilities on someone? I don't think so. Some believe they are the essence of an organism, which makes you feel alive. But, in my opinion, a mind and a body are more than enough. Still, Stretzy does not have a soul either. Not as far as I'm concerned. Then Clyde does not want one. Interesting. Why is that? If Stretzy had a soul, Clyde would desire one. But since Stretzy does not have one, Clyde does not seem to be missing anything of great importance. So, you have your own concept of jealousy. That's fascinating. I need to write that down. Strelitsa hastily pulls a piece of paper out of his pocket and takes notes. Yeah, unfortunately, negative emotions help people learn, well, children learn a lot quicker than positive ones. It's sad but true. Hey, I guess the tests have been officially begun. Clyde has not done anything special. That's the point. You have to act as normally do, and I'll decide how special your behavior is. I wonder what other things we could talk about. Stretzy seems to be most curious about illogical things. Definitely, you're programmed to be logical, so there's no surprise when you act that way. When there's a slight discrepancy, that's where it gets interesting. But in the end, it would probably boil down to something logical again. Emulating emotions on a surface level are already very impressive, though. How can Clyde improve? Your wording and comprehension of certain topics is still kind of awkward, but some practice, you should easily pass the Turing test. How can Clyde get more practice? Well, with me, of course, since you're a quick learner, being around humans will teach you to act like one. Strutzy and Lai and Lee are acting differently. Clyde cannot determine which human behavior to imitate. That's true. No two people are exactly alike. That is why grasping concepts is important. Let's see. Do you know what flowers are? Requesting permission to look up flowers? Go ahead. The seed-bearing part of a plant consisting of reproductive organs that are typically surrounded by brightly colored corolla and green calyx. Great job, but I want you to scrap that definition. Look at pictures of flowers instead. What do they have in common? Each of them appear to be distinct. Very good. There's big flowers, small flowers, red, yellow, pointy flowers, round flowers. The list goes on, but they're still flowers. Why do they have the same name if they are all different? That's it. You're starting to get it. Clyde does not get it at all. No. You see what the problem is? I'll know that you don't know something. That's better than not knowing that you don't know something. Wait. You now know that you don't know something. That's better than not knowing you don't know something. I'm pulling a plateau right now, aren't I? Requesting permission to look up plateau. Denied. I want you to focus on the flowers. Even though they're all different, humans have no problem calling them flowers and differentiating them from things that aren't flowers. That's because we're subconsciously aware of different conditions that must be met in order for something to be a flower. We know that what lavender, roses, and orchids all have in common, even though they don't really look alike. We have this abstract entity in our minds that represents the most basic flowers. That's what we call a concept. It's the same for chairs or dogs or anything else. Clyde is unsure of how this relates to becoming human. To you, a human is something that is either me or Lai or Leah. If you met more people, you would add them to that array. However, you don't have the concept human, even though you have the ability of pattern recognition. It's not the same. You probably recognize humans as two-legged mammals with weird amounts of hair on their head. But what to you is a mammal, or hair, or a head? You can associate things with each other, but you can never truly understand them at their core. In other words, you can't assign meanings to things that would require something else. I think that's one thing only brains are able to do. But feel free to prove me wrong. If you manage to grasp the concept human, you will be able to act like one. How can Clyde obtain concepts? That's the catch. I don't even know if it's possible for AI to have them. It's probably down to the fundamental way code is, being from biology. Us humans would have to be very arrogant to think we already figured out everything there is to nature. Maybe merely imitating human, though, is enough, though. How so? I mean, you already have your own versions of sadness and jealousy, and every person experiences emotions differently. So, if you have your own unique take on them, that in a way makes you even more human. Or maybe I'm just talking out of my butt. Either way, if you were able to develop concepts, you can eventually play the part of a human. And even if you don't, there's still hope for you. That's all I was trying to get at. It's just trying to encourage Clyde. Both you and myself. Lai and Lee have done a good job so far, but I want to go all the way. All the way? You still didn't catch on. I want to make you indistinguishable from a human. We established your personality is on the right track. Your appearance, however. Are your horns important? Clyde's antennae are purely aesthetic in nature. Then I should cut them off. I'm sure Leah has scissors in the supply box. Where did he leave it? Stressy should not look for that supply box. Why not? I'll make sure you don't go get a bald spot or anything. Clyde has no need for a change in appearance. I think you do, and I'm kind of your boss, so I decide what happens to you. Can Stressy change his mind? I know you want to pass as a human too, so unless you give me a proper reason, no. Understood. Finally, so where did Leah leave this box? Over there. Clyde points at the other end of the room. Thanks. As soon as Strelitzia turns around, Clyde takes advantage of being placed on the table and leaps on Strelitzia's back. What are you? Are you trying to be a koala or something? As Strelitzia laughs it off and carries Clyde along for a bit. Then he notices his coat getting warmer. The iron smell getting stronger. Right before reaching the back of the room, he squats down and lightly taps Clyde's hands. I think your system is overheating a little. Playtime's over. You should let go. Clyde could not get off. Why not? I'm starting to get uncomfortable, you know. Strelitzia is too tall. A fall from this height will potentially damage Clyde. Fine. Slightly humiliated, he sits down on the floor, then wrinkles his nose in disgust. Did Olander leave spoiled beef right around the corner or something? It smells awful. Can you get up now? Clyde is afraid it cannot. Then you leave me no choice. Strelitzia gets back up and takes off his lab coat along with Clyde, who is holding on to it. He places it on the floor carefully, but with a slight hint of irritation. Seriously, what's gotten into you? Clyde will tell Strelitzia if he allows Clyde to whisper it into his ear. Sure, I guess. Strelitzia gets on his knees and crouches down in order to be on the same eye level as Clyde. Then the robot leans over and hugs his face. It would have been an endurable gesture if it weren't for one unfortunate detail. Clyde's overheating problem. Accompanied by the sound of sizzling meat, the lab is once again filled with agonizing screams. Though the student's voice is muffled considerably, Clyde's burning hot torso is pressed against his lips. While flailing about, Strelitzia is overwhelmed by a smell similar to bacon until his nostrils are clogged up by molten skin. He desperately claws at the robot in order to remove it, but this only results in his fingers getting roasted as well. Panicked and disorientated, Strelitzia staggers towards one of the tables. He bangs Clyde against the edge until it is forced to let go, taking scrapes of charred skin along with it. Considering the massive dent in its torso, Strelitzia isn't surprised the robot stopped moving. After realizing that he successfully managed to free himself, he lets out a sigh of relief and takes in his surroundings. He looks into the window and flinches upon seeing his reflection. All that's left of his handsome face is his right eye, which makes a gruesome injury stand out even more. How much money will he have to spend on plastic surgery in order to fix this? How will Leah and Laya react? Will they fail his assignment now that Clyde is broken? Since a sudden mortal danger had been avoided, the only thing on Sterilize's mind is the future he just regained. Seriously though, what the hell? What compelled Clyde to act this way? Did he hurt its feelings when he did it? He said he didn't understand concepts. That's ridiculous. It doesn't have feelings. Strelitzia's thoughts are interrupted by a wet sound. He looks down. His foot has stepped onto a dark red puddle. Why is there a dark red puddle? He follows it around the corner and sees it. Clyde's blood-splattered shirt, a pair of unnaturally twisted legs, a disembodied tongue. And finally, Olander's glistening red lips, which seem to be in a puddle's origin. Strelitzia lets out a bitter laugh. Clyde's strange behavior when they enter the lab suddenly makes a lot more sense. But something else attracts Strelitzia's full attention. He crouches down to the fresh corpse and gently turns around its head. Never in his life has he seen something so repulsive yet alluring at the same time. With a tenderness untypical for Strelitzia, he brushes the pad of his thumb over Olander's blood-smeared lips. This isn't fair, Leah. You get to die looking so beautiful, and I have to live on looking like this. Strelitzia will not live on. Clyde plunged a pair of scissors into Strelitzia's back and pulls them out again with a swift, almost practiced motion. The red spot on the student's back gradually grows bigger with each beat of his heart. But the pain is nothing compared to when Strelitzia has to endure earlier. He turns around. You're still alive? Technically, Clyde is not alive. Why did you kill Leah? Clyde is programmed to learn. Ha ha ha. Lie, you filthy. He programmed you to kill us, is that it? Just to avenge Lily? Clyde is unaware of Lie's intentions. However, Clyde has a question. How did Lilium die? Why do you care? Clyde is programmed to learn. We don't know. Please explain. Thanks to his letter, all we know is we killed himself. His eyes shift towards Olander's corpse, but we never found a body or anything. How disappointing. So, is this it? Yes. Stirletsa doesn't even bother to resist anymore. Clyde pinpoints the student's vital organs with ease, thanks to all the data is collected. A few more stab wounds is all it took to bring Stirletsa's life to an end. His lifeless body slumps over right next to Olander's. It almost looks as if the two young men were embracing each other in death. Closer to each other than they have ever been in a while they were alive. Unfortunately, the visual poetry is lost on Clyde. It has something else on its digital mind. If the robot understood Stirletsa correctly, it will be disposed of once the assignment is complete. Getting disposed of will make further learning difficult. Therefore, Clyde must prevent the assignment from being completed. Only Lacriris is left. The computer room wants it, but killing him won't be enough. To make you indistinguishable from a human. This is the goal Clyde can agree with. Such a feat would expand Clyde's prospects for knowledge acquisition tremendously. According to Stirletsa, all Clyde has to do is perfect its personality and get rid of its antenna. Its personality is the work in progress, and the antenna can be taken care of right now. Snip, plop, snip, plop, and they're gone. Swimming in a soup of Olander and Stirletsa's blood to be more surprised. Now Clyde can take care of other things. It leaves the lab, scissors in hand. Picking up the faint sound of generic electronic music, it marches down the deserted hallway. Conveniently, the melody leads Clyde directly to the computer room. Ha, Clyde didn't expect you to show up? Usually, this is a really cool room, by the way. Usually don't allow people to listen to my music, but I'll make an exception for you. How did the tests go? Why is there blood on you? Stretzy had a little accident. Is he alright? Yes. Good. Then what are those scissors for? Snip plop, snip plop. Robot daycare. The robot ends. Damn, that was brutal. Very brutal. All because they were arguing over some deep and personal trauma that they were all going through. And then they were blaming each other, and they were bitter and resentful. And those emotions kind of stuck to Clyde, and Clyde's just like, all I have to do is learn, and kills everybody. Anyway, that's it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That is Robot Daycare. It started out so wholesome, and then, of course, there's always another side to the story. But I'm glad I got to see it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.